Welcome to this SmartView installation tutorial on Microsoft Windows 10. In this tutorial, we will be installing EMS on a laptop with a 1.8 GHz i5 CPU and 16 gig of RAM. Windows 10 is the professional version. To start off here, I'm going to use the Windows key pause, which will bring up this system panel. As you can see, here is the i5 CPU, 16 gig RAM. It's 64-bit operating system, which is a must for EMS. And it's Windows 10 Professional. Okay, now we're into the extracted EMS installer folder. And the first thing we need to do is to run the EMS installer. We right-click and choose Run as Administrator. Now, the very first thing we need to do is to install a Microsoft SQL Server. So we click that one time, and we're going to install the English version. Click it once. Now, the MSSQL Express, which will install on Windows 10, is SQL Server 2014. And the installation is run in the unattended mode. This means that we've already pre-configured the installation options. Two of those very important installation options are that, number one, the default instance must be created. And number two, the authentication mode needs to be mixed mode. Because we run the unattended installation, there's no need for any user interaction with the setup of the MS SQL Server. And you'll see here that these are grayed out, and we just need to let the installation process run to its conclusion. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to skip to the very end of the installation when this green bar gets to the end here, and we'll continue. Okay, the GUI portion is finished. Final cleanup, and we'll jump back to our batch file. There we go. Now our batch file will finish up and cue us to change or leave the SA password. The administrator SA default password is 4 zeros. Do we want to change it? No, and enter. And then any key we can enter again to leave the batch. Okay, at this point, MS SQL Server has been installed, and the path to the SQL command has been added to the environment. So we need to exit the EMS installer and restart to bring that environment back in. So again, we right-click, Run as Administrator, and now we're going to install EMS. Okay, we're going to use Browse here because this is the 32-bit folder path, and we do want to place our EMS into the 64-bit folder, which is just plain old program files. Okay, now that we've done that, just click once on English, and we'll wait for it. This will also run a setup batch file, which copies the files into the EMS folder. And we'll be creating startup icons, and we'll be running the setup tool. So here is our setup tool, which is runs under Java. And this is the initial server. So we're going to install server and tools. The database is local on this machine. Remember, the SA password was 4 zeros. Please leave the database name as EMS. We're going to use a static IP address. And if we're going to be running outside of a firewall, any of our clients, then it's a good idea to run a static port for the services. The other thing we'll do is increase our memory to 1 gig for the server and the client, and we're ready to install. It's going to create a new database, so yes, we will continue. The database has been created and data is installed in the schema. And our startup tools have been created. Okay, then we exit here. And we're going to exit again. And that is the end of the EMS installation with one final step. We need to go to the C drive, into the program files, and right-click on EMS folder and choose Properties. Now what we're doing here is we're going to take permissions for all the users so they can access the EMS folder with full permissions. So click the Security tab, click Edit, choose all the users, and allow full control and modify. Then click OK, and OK again to exit. Now, as a quick test to see that you have permission in this folder, if you right-click and choose New, you can see you have all of these options to create a new. And you would not have those options if you did not have full access to the folder. Another test is just to create a text file, and you can see we can create a file. And I'm going to delete that file. This is the end of the SmartView Server EMS installation. And there's some links down below to help you with how to configure either industrial product or a telecom product. So please check below for those links. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video.